That's okay. We're live. Okay, so first we're supposed to go around and each say our names. So I'm Steffi Eggers.
Hi, Steffi.
I'm Michaela Rinless-Backer.
I'm Corey.
I'm Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. Okay. All right. And now we're going to go through the questions. And I'm not positive because we had questions we needed to go over for our class, but then this conversation, it looks like the main thing we're going over is the definition of a family. So did you guys look at that and put in order those 7 things?
Yeah.
I didn't put them in order, but I've been looking into this for like a year now, and I don't know if I agree with any of them, any of those definitions. So
Yeah.
I'm just an oddball, I guess.
No, I didn't think any of them fit perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I did list them based on, like, which one do I agree with the most and which one I disagree with the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thoughts too. Like there was nothing that kind of, because Elder Bednar, his whole point was that, you know, usually we just talk about it as an application, but you know, it's much bigger than that because of why it's important, marriage and the family. So, what did you guys have as the most important, or the one you agreed with most?
The one that I agreed with most with was the first definition, which was the child has one or two a fundamental social group in society, typically consisting of one or two parents and their children.
Yeah, that's the first one that I put too.
I couldn't decide between that and the second one because that one said long-term commitments, and that was the other thing that I was like, the first one didn't really say, but I think you're right in that, and I would agree most with number 1 actually because it says fundamental. So I guess between the two, that I would agree with that one the most. So.
Well, and I guess when I was looking at the definitions, I thought it was like, what's our idea of the ideal family? And so I liked that it put parents and children. And then when I was looking at the second one, it said long-term commitment, but like neither of them said man and woman. And so when I looked at long-term commitment, I was like, same-gender couples have that too.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, the first one as my number 1 and the second one as my number 2. So I couldn't decide on either of those either.
Yeah. I struggle because I feel like none of them really hit home like exactly what I would describe, but it also is like what family they're talking about, because people who don't have a mom and a dad, does that mean like they don't have a family? Like family can be so many different things. So like I don't know how to properly describe it because some people don't have what we call a family, and to them, their family is everyone who lives in the home with them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That was kind of my thought too, because the first one says 1 or 2 parents and their children, but I know several people that are really, like, their actual families are dysfunctional. So that's what kind of made me think about, you know, people that you kind of have a long-term commitment to, that you live with, that you know, support, but it's like you guys said, it's kind of like they both cover different families. So I don't know. I kind of think they're like equal, but because it says a fundamental social group, then I guess I could lean more with you guys if you want, you know.
Yeah.
Fun.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, my whole thing when I was looking at it was like you have to, what's the idea of the ideal family? Like even good members of the church aren't part of an ideal family. And so, anyways, that's how I looked at it, was what would we consider to be the definition of an ideal family? Does that make sense? Or did I just...
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem in our society, is that it's a question. Because I feel like hundreds of years ago, if you asked everybody what a family was, everyone would be like, my mom and my dad and my siblings.
Right.
But now, if you ask America what a family is, you have like 900 different things. It could be like my 2 dads and my adopted sister, or it could be like my dad left me and my mom does drugs, so my foster care system's my family. Or like, I think that's why we have so many. I get so mad about it. I think that's why we have so many problems, is that we've lost the definition of a family, and nobody really cares about finding it again. It's more just like, it's what I want it to be. But I think a family essentially should just be people who love you and take care of you, and that you're committed to each other. I think that could be anybody's family.
Yeah. Well, and also it's hard because if you ask people now who their family is or what a family is, instead of saying who your family is, then they're going to try, I think everyone tries to give kind of like whatever their political view is, like, well, it can be anything, they're not even really talking about their family, they're talking about, if they support gay marriage, they're going to say two people that love each other, but you're right, when you ask somebody who their family is, you're going to get tons of answers, so, well, should we just say those two together are number one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what do you guys have for the next important?
This is 3.
Yeah. Or like 2, 3, sort of.
I put 4.
That's what I put.
Yeah, mine too. Because I think that's really important, like the ancestry, and that's why I put 5 next. Did you guys put that next?
I don't see a huge difference between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I understand the
3 and 4
difference between ancestry and lineage.
I don't know. That one says distinguished lineage, which
Mine is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Who's lost?
I can hear.
I don't know who's saying hello.
I think it's Michaela.
Oh, okay.
I think we lost her for a second.
Okay, so I think the main difference.
Hello.
I don't know what's going on, but can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think the biggest difference is just that the one says sharing common ancestry. So that could be like a race or a culture even, or like a group of people. Whereas, but it could also be your actual direct ancestry.
Yeah.
So the next one says especially distinguished lineage, which seemed like almost, like a royal family line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of ordered it 4, 5 because I think that common ancestry is more what everybody has.
Right.
Okay. All right. What do you,
As the group activity, it says complete the activity as a group, compromising as necessary, balance the thoughts, and now answer these questions. What was challenging? What? So, is that all we do though for this today? Is we put those in order like we just did, and then answer those last questions? Or was
Yeah.
there more?
I think
Yeah,
that
but we
was it.
have to. Is that all of the things, or what did you guys have last between 6 and 7?
I had 6 and then oh, what was number 5?
3. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we put 1 and 2 as number 1,
Okay.
4 as number 2, 5 as number 3, and then we need to order 7, 3, and 6.
Okay, so I put 3, 6, 7.
I put I saw it as my last. The thing I least agreed with would be a group of things.
Yeah, that's what I had last.
Yeah.
I mean, I think scientifically it's a family, but like you have the like when you classify things scientifically, there's a family that they go under, and then
Mm-hmm.
it just groups things that have similarities. But even in that sense, I don't think similarities make you a family. I don't think that has anything to do with the commitments of a family.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Plus, it says things, and I would say that the human family would be before that.
Yeah.
So, Kaylee, are you okay with that if we do 3, 7, 6?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
You don't want to fight for it?
No, most of these things I was like, I honestly have no, like, I thought I would come to this group meeting and my order would be completely off of everyone else's. So, yeah, I'm good.
We're all pretty much the same.
I know, that's what I think is funny. But good.
Yeah. Was this the class that we had to watch that the View clip?
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg talked about all the that that to me was the most challenging thing from this week so far. From the things we have to answer in the group activity.
Mm-hmm.
I know that wasn't exactly about this activity, but it had to do with family. And like she was getting so mad because she was saying like at the end she just like everyone was like talking at the same time and she just was like, why do you even care about my marriage? Like if I marry a woman, how is it gonna mess up your marriage? But it made me so frustrated because by her saying that it meant that a marriage was just between the husband and the wife.
Yeah.
Like not what if marriage was just between a husband and to her marriage was between the two people that were in love, man or woman and woman. But that's not what it is because if that's what it was, like when people if you're not in love anymore, then you get a divorce because you view it as something that's just your relationship. But really when you get married, you're getting married for your whole family. You're not getting married just because you love that person. You're getting married because it's going to bring about something wonderful. And you shouldn't just get a divorce because the two people aren't in love anymore. You should stay together for the family. And since family is the fundamental unit of society, of course her marriage would affect my life because we're all a part of one huge society. And like if everyone starts having dysfunctional relationships and then they're bringing children into the world and they're living in that, those show up and be the guy who delivers your pizza and the guy you sit next to at the movie theater. Like all these people around you all come from families. And if we all start having bad marriages that don't work, then we're all going to create a society that falls.
Yeah.
And that's why I got so mad that she was like, so what if I'm a lesbian and marry? What is it to you?
Well,
Well, it's society.
that's why there is marriage and why you're supposed to get married is because everyone's known throughout all of time that it's important to all of society to be married. And that's why you have witnesses. It's a public thing. And just because you want to change the definition doesn't mean it's not going to affect everyone the same.
Yeah.
But, well, so, yeah, you're right, though, Corey. The last thing we have to do is just go over the questions. So it says, what was most challenging about this activity? So that brings up a good point. It's questions like what you just said, Whoopi Goldberg said, that kind of make it hard to look over these definitions because we all know that none of these are complete.
Yeah.
Even the sum of all of them isn't complete. So
Right.
that's what I had a hard time with.
Well, the most difficult thing for me was we're in a class about advocacy, and the hardest thing that I've had with it is that I was kind of the mindset of the one lady that said, why is my marriage affecting yours? And I thought, well, it's not affecting my marriage because, anyways, I guess I had to come to the understanding that their ideas are influencing the ideas that my kids are going to have on what a marriage and a family is. It's not necessarily that because she's married to, it's going to affect the fact that I'm married to a man. It's just the fact that it's changing the idea of, like, the ideas that my kids are going to receive being in society, being in school with their friends. And so I had to kind of change my mindset, and like I didn't really care about advocacy because I was like it's not affecting me, but it is affecting my children. And so I think I'm more into this class now. I think advocacy is more important now, but that was definitely a challenge for me.
It's hard too though because I can't help but be sympathetic at the same time, because if they started trying to pass that in America, you only were allowed to get married in a public area, and they banned temple marriages. Like, imagine someone telling you you can't get married in what you want to do. Like, I am married and I got married in a temple, but I can't imagine like wanting to be married in a temple your whole life, and then when you get there in America, sorry, you can't do it just because everyone doesn't like it. So in a way, I feel bad for the gay and lesbian culture, because they do want to get married. They want to have the love that a man and a woman can, and they feel like just because they were born and they believe a certain thing, all the people who hate on them can tell them that they just don't get that dream.
Yeah, it is hard to have the standpoint that we have to have, you know?
Really hard.
You do feel bad, and now especially as, you know, it's more socially acceptable to be gay. We all know people and are friends with people that are gay. And, I mean, I guess it depends where you live, but there are several people in our ward that are gay openly, and it's hard to have that in this life if they're going to choose the right, you know. But I also thought it was challenging thinking about family advocacy, because when you think about what the world sees as the family, like, it's hard to stand up for families when, you know, like, we really have to stand up for principles instead of the family, because the family means different things to different people. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, I think everyone should protect families and be married, because then you've got gay people that are saying, yeah, me too, you know.
Right.
Or, you know, I don't think divorce should happen, because then you have people who have parents that are abusive, that are, you know, it's like...
There's always someone else's exception. Yeah.
So we kind of have to advocate for principles and doctrines, I feel like, more than just the word family when
Yeah.
it comes to the world. Okay, the next question says, how well do you think the average young adult understands the doctrine of the family?
I would say not very well. Just reading the talk from Sister Beck when she would ask them, why does the first presidency care so much about you and provide so many resources for you, and none of them were about the family. And she said their responses are generally about self.
Mhm.
And so anyways, I would say they don't know, they don't understand the importance of the doctrine. And I don't think any of us do, actually. I think our whole mindset would completely change, like Elder Bednar said in his video. Our whole mindset would completely change if we fully understood how important the doctrine of the family is.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I think so, too. I think you're right. There's a lot of layers that we couldn't understand. We can't understand. We kind of touched on this already. Well, Kaylee brought up a good point of why it's important we study the doctrine of the family at the beginning of the semester as opposed to the end. And I totally agree with your idea that, like, it's hard to care about family advocacy if you don't look into the doctrine and definition of the family at the beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else to add?
Well, I would just say that our whole class is on child and family advocacy, and so in order to speak for the family, we have to understand what the family is, essentially. And so I think this topic is definitely the foundation that we're going to be building on throughout our semester, and that's why it needs to be first.
Yeah. And I wish there was a way that I wish I knew of a better way to teach youth about family, because even with like seminary and general conference, I mean, I was raised in the church. My family is inactive, but I still saw general conference and I still went to church. And I like never missed a day of seminary, but even then, it wasn't until this past weekend at the Ogden Temple, they just rededicated it, and Elder Eyring gave a talk on the family. And it was like life-changing. It was like the most amazing thing I'd ever heard, like better than any general conference talk I've ever heard. And it was like it's crazy to me that I've been into family advocacy for like a year, and since my family's inactive and my mom just puts like this much effort into family, like it's so hard for me to care so much about family and then her just like dismiss it. And so I can see like why family advocacy is needed, but I don't know how to like teach it to people. Like I don't know how to get everyone to be like, look, it's an important thing. Families are important. Because in the Mormon culture it's popular because we talk about it so often. But how many people do you know that are LDS and like we talk about the importance of family often with each other? Like nobody just cares about it. So it's just. Go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking most of my friends that I hang out with are not members because my son's a lot of extracurricular type therapies and things. And I'm constantly, I mean, I'm the youngest mom and I have 2 kids and 1 on the way. And I'm married, and most people my age that I'm friends with are either nannies or, you know, they're not getting married anytime soon, and most of them live with their boyfriends. And I can talk about it a lot, and they ask me a lot of questions because I'm different, you know. So I think as we kind of branch out then and just show how happy we are and try not to complain about stuff that's hard, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to be an advocate is, at least for me right now, is, you know, sharing stuff on Facebook or, you know, not complaining when my kids are hard to handle or something, but like talking about the good parts and my, you know, why my husband's a good husband and things like that instead of complaining.
Yeah, that's spot on. Just talking about it to whoever you can.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, and then the next question is basically what we just talked about. What, if understood, what principle would motivate a Latter-day Saint to advocate for the family? So did you guys have anything else you wanted to add to the conversation before we summarize?
Do we each post a summary in the link, or is it just one person?
No, we don't have to summarize it. I mean,
We vocally summarize.
yeah, the last 2 minutes, somebody will do a run-through of kind of the order we put things in and what we talked about, and then that's it. And then I am not positive how to do it. I'm hoping I don't have to like do something before I close this out.
Yeah.
But
I think once you go off live or whatever, they should be like, do you want to share this? And you just take the link.
okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay, that's what I'm hoping. I would do something with it. Okay, so then I just do that and then
app on the side also.
the YouTube one.
Yeah, and I think you can. I just clicked on it, so my video goes all weird. Click add videos to photos. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe you can't do it with YouTube. But there is a YouTube button on the side.
Okay,
I don't know if
yeah,
it works.
I clicked on that. I'm not sure what's going on with it now. How do I get off that screen?
Click the YouTube button again.
Okay,
Did it work?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I feel bad I'm talking a lot. I just like things to move along. I don't like to like linger on it. So are you guys good? Does somebody else want to summarize it, or do you want me to do it?
Go ahead and go for it.
If I want to, I can do it.
Okay, if you want to, then go for it.
Basically, we just talked about at the beginning the definitions of the family, and I think we all generally agreed that while all of the family definitions provided had bits of truth, that they weren't all totally true. But we decided they're basically as they are in order, but we have lineage, or no, sorry, we have a group of like things as last, and we kind of combined 1 and 2 as like a more whole truth. We're a fundamental social group where they have 2 parents and most likely children, but that they share goals and values and have long-term commitments to each other. The most challenging thing we found in the activity was that it's hard to even decide your stance, and we have a stance that's generally provided by the church that we should advocate family and not support gay marriage. And we talk about how you have to protect family and marriage, because if we just keep letting it slip out of hand, our society is just gonna fall into pieces. But at the same time, we can't help but sympathize, because they're our brothers and our sisters, and we're sitting here holding a stance that they can't have the dream love that they've always wanted. So that was hard, and it's hard to hold the position that you're against gay marriage, because you do have to cut off people. And we don't think that young adults can really understand the doctrine of the family, and that it's not taught as strongly. And even if it is taught, it's hard for them to wrap their mind around it because they're young. Everything is, how does it affect me? which is natural. But we talked about just talking about family often and all the beautiful benefits of it and just being an advocate for that. I think that's about it.
That's awesome. Thanks for doing that, and thanks to you guys for coming. And I'm going to do the best I can to follow these directions and figure out how I'm supposed to post it.
Okay, so for next week, are we just, I mean, I assume we do this every week, right?
Yeah.
Is she reassigning groups, or is it the same groups, the same times?
I think it's the same every time.
Okay.
So we're going to be in the same group every Wednesday at 6.
Okay. I was just going to ask if that was okay with everyone if we do the same thing next week.
Works
Yeah,
for-
I can do 5 or
Yeah.
6, either one.
Okay, let's plan on that then. Thanks, guys.
Who wants to lead the next one and post the link?
How do you
Okay.
find the link?
Yeah, tell me how you did that. How did you start it?
Well, I went into under the resources tab, under the course folder, there's Google Hangouts on Air, and then I just did, I didn't read all the directions, but if you just go to the, it says like, how to start a Google Hangout on Air immediately, and then I just clicked that, and then I clicked the, it basically opens up a Google Hangout. And then you just copy and paste the link into the notes. But like I think it was Michaela that pointed it out. It stopped. You can only do it like for a short time before the HOA hangout. So do it shortly before.
Okay.
So who wants to do that?
For next week?
Yeah.
I can do it next week.
Okay. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.
Do we
Okay,
just
then.
keep that through the discussion board?
I think I just post the recording on there, and that's it.
Okay. And then next week we have another discussion board, and that's how we talk to each other again through the Hangout.
Someone will have to put a new link, most likely. So,
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
all right, bye, guys.
See ya.
Okay.